Warning! What you are about to hear contains explicit language, adult themes, and potentially disturbing content. The views and opinions expressed are those of the hosts and do not reflect the opinions of anyone else, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. This podcast is intended for an immature audience and should not be listened to by anyone, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. You know, fuck it. You've been warned.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Geek Pod. I'm your host, Paul.
I'm Hugh.
And I'm Corbs.
And Kevin's not with us right now. He may join us at some point in the show. He's busy doing work stuff.
He's adulting.
Yes.
Other work stuff.
Foolish adulting.
He's
guys,
adulting.
guys, what's got you geeked?
Well, I'm pretty excited. I'm not going to give out specific dates, but I am going to be taking a few trips over the next few months. We have planned because, we have vacation now, so we're going to take advantage of that. And they're going to be like, little 2-3 day trips, nothing major.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to be going to Lake George, which my wife has gone to with my mother-in-law in the past and taken our daughter, but I've never been able to go there and I've never been there before. So they come back with all the pictures and talk about how awesome it is. Well, we're finally going to go as a family. So we're going to be doing that. And then we're also going to be going down to New Jersey for a couple days. Not the part of New Jersey that you want me to visit or think was cool. It's going to be on the west side. You may not. I don't know if I've ever mentioned her name in passing to you, but my former boss, Amity, she was like my team lead almost the entire time I was at Rev, and she moved on to another position in the company. And her and Damara were both managers, so. Now that, we've always been close friends. I mean, she was the person that trained me. I got brought on right before she became manager. So she was actually just a coworker and trained me. So we've all been really tight. And, we only got to see her that one time we went down to Texas. And, it was a little weird because at that point she was our boss. So yeah. I'm sure she had to be concerned about that. She's not anymore. And she is super excited. We're going to come down and visit her and her husband. Just going to be down there for 2 days. It's on the west side. We are going to be able to hit a White Castle on the way down, which has me super pumped because I've always wanted to go to a White Castle. And just going to hang out, have some fun. Her husband, Drew, seems like a really cool dude. Very interesting. Skinny, kind of long hair, huge beard. He is an Odinist. So he is using the Viking religion. He has a wood shop in the basement where he builds like full on Viking shit. Like this guy builds stuff that he can sell for hundreds of dollars. So a very talented guy. And I've only ever seen him walking in the background. So there's kind of this running gag that, we're finally going to meet for the first time because we know each other. We always say hi when we see each other, but it's always in the background.
That's funny.
Yeah, so I'm super pumped. We just planned this this past week. Damara and her worked it all out. So yeah, gonna have some fun this summer.
That's awesome.
Nice. Well, enjoy.
I will.
So for me, it's birthday. My son's birthday is next Tuesday, the 13th. So for me, that's got me geeked. My son's gonna be 14, going on about 27. we're gonna do something this weekend together. We're going to the Strong Museum up in Rochester.
Place is awesome.
He's been. I've never been. He's been with his mother. So we decided to go up there on Sunday. Actually, his mom's coming in. We're all gonna go up there and for the day or whatever. And then on his birthday, I took the day off. I took Monday and Tuesday of his birthday off, so I have next Monday and Tuesday off from work. So Monday I take my mom to the doctor's in the morning or whatever. So after that, may try to play some golf, but I'm not playing this weekend. It's the one weekend I'm not playing because Saturday is actually Kelly's, my girlfriend's, her son's birthday was the 3rd. But she's having his party on the 10th. And then Sunday we're doing something for my son, just me and his mom. And then on his birthday, I think him and I are going to go and do something, just the two of us. And then the following Saturday, we're going to Apex in the mall. He's bringing some of his buddies. We're going to go there and have a little birthday party for him, go bowling and all that happy horse shit. So that's what's got me geeked. It's just some time with me and my boy, which is nice. We spend time together, but it's usually hanging out, watching Loki or TV or whatever. So when I was told him I was watching WandaVision and all that stuff, he's like, "Oh, I want to watch Loki with you. I know you're gonna do it for the podcast. I want to watch it with you. I really want to watch it." And he wants to watch the What If.
Yes,
that's coming out now.
That's gonna be cool.
He really wants to watch that too. So awesome. It's nice because we sit down. Actually, we got done about 10 minutes before we logged on with watching Loki, or we were supposed to log on. So we got done about 8:20. So watching Loki, we had dinner and he's like, "We gotta watch Loki." I'm like, "Oh, son of a bitch, I haven't watched that yet." So,
yeah, I did the same thing. I finished at 8:22. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got it. We did get it in. So, but it's nice to get a chance to hang out with him at times. So because it's either that or he sits in his room on his computer and never leaves. I got him an air conditioner last year, so he sits in there. It's like freaking Antarctica in there. He loves it in there. It's like super ice cold in there. He's got the air conditioning on with a blanket wrapped around him.
Naturally, as one does.
Right, and I was just but he sits in there and he has a good time. He gets on with his buddies and whatnot on the computer. So, pretty nice to get him out to do something. Like I said, going to Strong Museum, and then I'm not sure what we're gonna do on Tuesday. I was, liking to go to like Cooperstown or something like that, but
that's always a good time too.
Yeah, we've been up there a couple times. Me and him went one year by. Just him and I went. We went up there. Just went up to the museum, Hall of Fame. Walked around the town a little bit, and then the next year we went back. I was supposed to play in a baseball game at Doubleday Field.
Nice.
A couple years ago. Yeah, but it rained before we got there, and they wouldn't let us play because we actually had gotten it in conjunction with another team up there that was around our area. It's older. It's like a 55 and older. So we split the cost with them to go up there and play.
That's cool.
So, but we both got rained out, and then they ended up playing later on that day there. So I actually played on that field before, which is kind of cool. When I was actually just after he was born, I went up there and played with the guys that we used to play baseball with. We all went up there. We went up there and played one day. So that's playing on that field it's memorizing. You realize how many people have actually been on that field and stuff. So it was just nice to get on that field. And
I felt like that about most of my ex-girlfriends.
All right. So that's it. That's for me. It's just some time with my boy. So
there you go. Well, I'm going to continue the theme, and my what's got me geeked also is family themed, and that's something big happened with Kylee this week. We've mentioned that she's doing warrior training at the Warrior Factory in Camillus in Township 5. She does the whole American Ninja Warrior parkour training, and this Saturday morning, she got a new achievement. She passed her green band test, which made her eligible to join the competition squad. And she has been accepted onto the competition squad. She is going to be a full-fledged ninja in this sense of ninja now. Practices have already begun. They kick the snot out of those kids. They're not messing around. We're talking box jumps, dead hangs, push-ups, planks. Yeah, for the full hour and 15 minutes. They put those kids through it. Yeah. And that was just the first night. And she goes back tomorrow, which would have been Thursday for you guys. So now I'm speaking about the past like it's the future. For obstacle training. And we do this 2 nights a week going forward now until, well, I mean, it'll continue on all the way through. It's like an 8-month season for them. And I'm not sure exactly when the actual competitions start yet, but then it'll be over and above the 2 nights a week for practice that we're hitting competitions as well. She already has her athlete ID. Like, she is actually registered with the National Ninja League. Like, she is a real deal athlete with these guys now. I'm super proud of her. She's super excited, super focused. Her jersey's coming already. She's super psyched that it's gonna have her name on the back. So yeah, it was a pretty big deal. That was my morning after our adventure last Friday night. I was there half dead. Not as half dead as Hugh. We'll talk about that later. But literally like no sleep, and it was just her, the head coach Julian, and then I was up on the catwalk, like literally almost asleep while they're going through all this stuff. So it made for a pretty good day for her, and she got rewarded coming out of it with she got to go pick out something at Target, and she decided she needed a Velociraptor mask. Yeah. So
as we all do.
Right. With a working jaw on it, of course. You gotta be able to bite things. But yeah, that's what's got me geeked. So
congratulations to her.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I will pass it along. She has also decided that she wants to be an instructor for maybe the older, less experienced, less belonging in that place set for if there was ever a one-off. If you guys know where I'm going with that.
Oh, okay. All right.
But we'll talk about that at a later date.
Paul, I gotta say, your lighting is messing with me.
I'm a little shadowed tonight. I don't have
yeah.
I lost my background light.
Yeah, it's like, I'm like, what are you, what we pot in shadows over there or something?
I can go back further, so it's more. It's actually less shadowed if I go backwards, but I don't know how that is for the mic.
Yeah, it's not good. It's just, it's.
Maybe on break I'll see if I can find another light. But guys, what are you playing?
Still playing 2K19. Still barely have time to play lately. But I did go through the Create a Wrestler mode, and I managed to upload my face to their servers.
Nice.
And create a big fat. You can only go. I mean, their fat is really more like barrel stomached. It's like like Otis or Earthquake. You can't really go fat out of shape. They just won't let you. But big fat long hair, beard, looks like me. That freaked my wife out. She's like, "Oh my God, that really looks like you." I've uploaded the GeekPod logos because I'm going to put them on my shirt and stuff, because you can do that. You can even upload your own tattoos.
Nice.
Take pictures of my tattoos, upload them onto the character. Chose some cool music. They let you pick out, you can have your names and all that. Like, you can pick your name and your nickname. And some of those names they have in a database. So like Avery made one, and Avery is not in the database, but Hugh and Alan both are. Nice. So I went, because my character's a big fat guy, and I'm going, okay, what would happen if I was really a wrestler? I do not have that athletic ability. So the only chance I would have would be hardcore. Brawling and willing to take a lot of pain and dish out punishment with steel chairs. So when I come on, the announcer actually says the hardcore icon, hardcore Hugh Allen, actually says it, not just on the screen. The announcer says it because my names are in there. So it's actually pretty fucking cool. I'm not really living vicariously through it. My Create a Wrestler days, that back years ago when I played the first games. Then I really got into it, but I wanted to play around with it, and it is pretty neat to see.
It sounds like it's really robust.
It is almost to the point where I don't want to say it's too robust, but the menus, it's really easy to keep backing out accidentally. They didn't put a lot of thought into how it works, and a lot of parts are confusing. Like when you choose your face and your head, but you don't choose your hair there. You actually have to go to attire to choose your hair, which gets confusing because you think you're missing something.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of the processes in this game are not intuitive. I mean, I can tell you, I've looked up things. You can even edit your entrance. Like, they have preset entrances based on some of the existing people and some default superstar made ones. Or you can go in and you can actually, they've got like fucking like video editing bars at the bottom, and you can edit your entrance, what your character does all the way down the ramp into the ring. You can edit the videos, not just the one Titantron video, but all of the video elements that show up, even the ramp. You can customize all of those.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's impressive what they give you, but it almost feels like they created a perfect creation suite, but forgot to work on the interface. So I've had to look a ton of stuff up, like, how do you do this? Oh, there, it's under this thing, which doesn't make fucking sense. But outside of that, yeah, really cool.
Nice. And now I'm assuming that's probably one of the more budget-friendly games at this point.
Not really. I mean, you can get if you get it.
It's like the second. It's like 2021 is the new one. So you're looking at 2 years.
No, there is no 21.
I thought there was. I thought I saw that too.
No.
2K21.
No, doesn't
you're
exist.
looking at probably about $30 or $40 for that game.
Well, here's the thing: 2K20, which I did get, and I'm playing around, is broken, and it has been since it came out.
Oh, wonderful.
And they've only been able to fix it to a certain degree. So it's 2K19 is still the current best-selling version of their game.
Okay, so they're not going to mark it down yet.
Yeah, because most people, I picked up 2K20 on a PlayStation Plus sale.
Mm-hmm.
So I got it for like $14, which I thought was, at that level, it was worth it. But yeah, I mean, PlayStation still sells the 2K19 for $59.99. There's not a whole lot of difference. There's some, I didn't intend to talk about this much. There's some roster additions to 2K20, like Hogan and Mick Foley are not in 2K19 for some reason, but
really?
They are in 2K20. Yeah. And there's some things like that, but on the average, I mean, the Creator Wrestler stuff is the same. Most of it's really similar, but they skipped 21 because even coming into 2020, the game broke when the clock changed from 2019 to 2020. The game stopped working. They had to rush a fix out. Yeah, it's really a buggy mess. They said that they were taking a year off and they were going to focus on 2K22. A new developer picked up with 2K20. Hughes Creations, I believe it is the company that had been making the games all the way back to like the PlayStation 2. And for whatever reason, they lost the license. So this new company took over and they botched it. So they're having to go back and rebuild it from the ground up. The company Hughes actually is going on and using their existing engine that works really well for an AEW game.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. But hopefully 2K21 will be better. I mean, I don't know if I'm into the whole yearly thing. Like I said, I'm trying to dip my toes back into wrestling. I'm enjoying it, but it seems like a game like that with the universe mode and the season mode and all that stuff. That's like your game you play the entire year.
Right.
You don't play anything else. I don't know if I want to go that far with it.
Okay. Makes sense. Problem is now with you talking about how robust that is, I kind of want to go out and get.
I mean, you certainly do
2K19.
It's one thing I will tell you is so far the gameplay, it's pretty good. Kicking out of a pin is fucking impossible. I have yet to do it. I will kick the shit out of somebody for 20 minutes and then they hit me like with one move and pin me and I'm done. Because there's this big meter and you have to hit X when it gets to a little section of the bar. And I can't practice it. I don't know if it fills up slowly. Basically, when X pops up, I instinctively start hitting X and blow all three of my chances.
Okay, I got you.
So it's like I need to practice it. because I don't understand how the mechanic works yet.
Yeah, I gotcha. It shouldn't be that difficult.
Well, some people say online that, once you understand it, it's easy. So I think maybe I just, like I said, I mean, literally the X pops up in instinct. I start mashing the X button, thinking I have to fill the meter, not wait for the meter to fill.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
So, I got to run. I'll be right back. I have to run downstairs real quick. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm not playing anything, so.
Me either. Unfortunately.
I'll be right back.
All right. Well, why don't we then stop and go to break, and we come back in?
All right.
The news
works for me. We'll be right back, guys.
Looking for the hottest new comic on the shelf or a keyback issue to complete your run? How about that rare statue or action figure that you've scoured the internet looking for? Come to Collectibles Galore. Located in North Syracuse with ample off-street parking, Collectibles Galore has a huge selection of comics, toys, and rare pop culture items you won't find anywhere else. Comics Galore is always buying comics and toys and will give you the fairest price for your collection. New customers get 15% off their first purchase in store. Collectibles Galore for all of your pop culture needs. Stop in and see for yourself why Collectibles Galore is the king of comics.
Now, before a ghost chop blocks you for not giving it a chance to respond, here's the news. First up, Dead or Alive, You're Playing With Me. Wait, what? MGM and developers Nacon and Teon have announced a brand new first-person shooter game coming in 2023, Robocop Rogue City. Now, man, Nacon and Teon, that sounds like a 90s Nickelodeon kids show, about two 13-year-olds who develop apps for a living, but they're really bad apps and they never work. And they have a robotic dog named Cat that helps them along. Anyway, Teon is best known for the recent Rambo and Terminator games no one played because they were big piles of shit. Great investment, MGM. I'm guessing they took a look at their track record and their history and said, I'd buy that for $1. I got a
Very nice.
Next up, not just a symbiotic credit. The head writer on Venom, Let There Be Carnage, told Empire this week that Tom Hardy is getting a legit story by credit on the film. Aside from the fact that I'm convinced he is the third Hardy boy, seriously, throw some face paint on that motherfucker, put him on a ladder and have him jump off. That would go over huge. Apparently, he spent a ton of time helping craft the story. Now, I think Tom Hardy is great in everything I've seen him in. He also always has a look on his face like he's sad no one is proud of him for finding a way out of the paper bag. Hard to believe, but good for him. Finally, nothing is true. Everything is permitted except games as a service. Ubisoft announced today they are working on Assassin's Creed Infinity. I am so upset about this. It's basically going to be a live service game with content added over time from different time periods. So basically, they're going to shit all over the franchise to get you to buy microtransactions. Now, if you have any idea what this might look like, I had some ideas. I wrote them down. $1.99 to refill your horse's stamina, or $14.99 per month gets you 10 free assassinations, an Ivor Flare for your character, and a chance to get sticks and rocks from a monthly free loot box. Fuck that. Fuck it hard with a hidden blade. And that's the news, kids. Now, I'm going to try to figure out how to do one of those Facebook polls. I need to know if the general public thinks Trump suing all of social media or Bring Me the Horizon releasing a vegan barbecue sauce is the most ridiculous news story of the day. Man, I really blew the delivery on that. Paul?
In other news, in Singapore, it is illegal to sell or own chewing gum. Back to you, Corbs.
What? I got nothing. Nothing for that. I mean, can't sell chewing gum. All right. No, I'm not going to Singapore then. All right. So this week, we're going to, as Paul alluded, we are going to review Predator. Everybody's favorite action movie, I guess. I don't know. Stars Arnold Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers, released in June of 1987. Directed by John McTiernan. He is known for Die Hard, which was made the very next year. He directed that. So you got 2 back-to-back action movies. Fantastic action movies. We'll leave it at that. First of all, if you haven't seen this action suspense, violent extravaganza, you most certainly are not a true action movie aficionado. I'm assuming everybody here has seen it.
At least have seen parts of it.
Parts of it?
Yeah.
Get out. Get out.
If I do, the show ends. It doesn't work.
The immediate grabbing feature of this movie is its score. Very imaginatively composed and created by Alan Silverstein.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about it in a second.
His other credits include Back to the Future series, other gems like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. The action is fast, furious, and merciless. The commandos are killed off one by one, leaving Arnie, Carl Weathers, and the other surviving members extremely terrified and on the verge of breaking down. They have a lot of heated arguments between each other. Very animated fury action, beginning with the assault on the terrorist camp. But as we are introduced to the true terror of the jungle, or should I say outer space, the action takes a turn for the more insane. Arnie running away armed only with a knife and a trembling in fear, almost drowns in a waterfall and thereafter continuously pursued by the predator. All of this following an hour-long jungle battle, mano a mano with spears, rocks, fists, and deafening yells by both warriors. I enjoy the movie. Matter of fact, when you had asked me to review it, I know that Kevin really wanted me to review it, and he's not here, so tough shit. So to me, it's a good movie. I actually watched it this afternoon just to bone up on it again. But for me, it's a movie that, you watch a little bits here and there. You don't watch it fully through. There's some spots that are kind of dull, I guess, for me. It's an action movie of the 80s. You expect it to be guns, explosions, death. You don't expect talking and stuff like that. So it's got some pretty good other guys in it. I mean, Billy Dukes is in it. Jesse Ventura's in it. So, I mean, I enjoy the movie. I'm going to give it, out of 5 stars, I'll give it 3.5, I suppose, maybe even 4. Again, it's a movie that I watch when it's on. Can't beat an Arnold Schwarzenegger action movie of the 80s. I mean, it's him, Stallone, Chuck Norris, all those guys in the 80s were your action heroes. So anything he does during the 80s, I'll watch it. So again, enjoy the movie. Go out and watch it. It has spawned 3 other sequels, which the second one, not as good. The remakes, they've had a crossover, Alien versus Predator, and they're coming out with another one. I don't know when it's coming out. I just saw it when I was looking for some more information about it. It's going to be called Skulls, but they haven't decided when it's coming out yet. So,
I believe if you count the Alien movies as well, there's like 12 movies in the entire franchise total.
Wow.
Because I just watched them all.
Now, do you want me to go into Ebert's review, or do you want to jump in now?
I want to say my piece now here, and the reason that I gave Alan Silvestri a big raspberry there. I'm not gonna piss on the movie. There are a couple parts that are cringy, where our humor's changed a little bit and it's kind of crass and it wouldn't fly today, but you expect that. But the score in this movie is absolute dog shit. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad score, but Corbs, you watched it today. Now, maybe you can help me with this. The score, I believe you did Back to the Future because it sounds like they're traipsing around the jungle to the fucking Back to the Future soundtrack. It does not fit the movie at all. They're like running around the guns like do 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 do. I'm watching it and I don't remember this from when I saw it the first time, years and years ago. But I'm like, holy crap, this doesn't fit this movie at all. It really pulled me out of the movie. Did you notice that today?
No, actually, some of the scores pretty good, like you're saying. I know, like when they first flying into the jungle, when they're playing it's the rock music, like almost like when they in Apocalypse Now, when they're playing the song as they fly in Vietnam to the beach. That's kind of like what that was. But you're right. As the movie progresses, the score does get worse. It doesn't match up.
Yeah, it's weirdly happy. It sounds like a fun romp through time and space or some shit. And it really weird. But it did create the Predator music, which I had stuck in my head for like 3 weeks. Now, of course, I can't remember what it is. Maybe it's like dun, 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 or something, whatever. But I did immediately compare it to Predator 2 because I watched them just about back to back, I think 2 days in a row. And they did improve the score with Predator 2. Predator 2, the score definitely fit. I actually like that movie a lot better than the first one. Love Danny Glover, even though he's kind of an unhinged idiot in that movie. And it's kind of, he doesn't know which way he's going. But what really gets me about that movie is the fact that, I don't remember. I was a kid in the 80s, so maybe you guys know a little bit more about this than I do. Not that you weren't kids in the 80s too, but specifically the subway scene. Do you remember the subway scene where those criminals come up and they try to rob that guy and I'll get you the money, and he pulls out a gun? The fuck with those criminals? Did they think that, gangs dressed up like a cross between Lionel Richie and Macho Man Randy Savage? He's like, we get a steal from you or whatever. What the fuck was that whole sequence? Holy crap, on a crowded train. Yes, officer. I saw the guy that robbed him. Yeah, he looked just like the Ultimate Warrior. Went running that way. Jesus fucking Christ. That was just hard to watch. Anyway,
I agree. I agree.
I'm done. I said my piece.
All right.
So what does Ebert have to say?
Well, he gives it 3 stars.
He doesn't know anything.
And he says, Predator begins like Rambo and ends like Alien. Surprise. And in today's Hollywood, that's creativity. Most movies are inspired by only one previous blockbuster. The movie stars Arnold Schwarzenegger as the leader of a U.S. Army commando team that goes into the South American jungle on a political mission and ends up dueling with a killer from outer space. This is the kind of idea that is produced at the end of a 10-second brainstorming session. But if it's well done, who cares? Predator is filmed very well. It's a slick, high-energy action picture that takes a lot of its strength from its steamy locations in Mexico. The heroes spend most of their time surrounded by an impenetrable jungle, a green wall of majestic vistas populated by all sorts of natural predators in addition to the alien. I've rarely seen a jungle look more beautiful or more convincing. The location effect is on par with Fitzcarraldo and the Emerald Forest. No idea what he's talking about. As the film opens, Schwarzenegger and his comrades venture into the jungle in search of South American officials who have been kidnapped by terrorists. They track and locate the fugitives and move in for the kill. But as they find the bodies of team members skinned and hanging from trees, they begin to realize they're up against more than terrorists. The predator of the movie's title is a visitor from space. That's established in the opening scene. What it is doing in the jungle is never explained. The creature lives in the trees, even though it seems to be a giant biped much too heavy to swing from vines. When Schwarzenegger finally grapples with it, we discover it is wearing a spacesuit, and that inside the suit is a disgusting creature with a mouth surrounded by little pinchers to shove in the food. Such details are important, of course. Stan Winston, who designed the creature, has created a beast that is sufficiently disgusting to justify Schwarzenegger's loathing for it. And the action moves so quickly that we overlook questions such as, 1. Why would an alien species go to all the effort to send a creature to Earth just so that it could swing from trees and skin American soldiers? Or 2. Why would a creature so technologically advanced need to bother with hand-to-hand combat when it could just zap Arnold with a ray gun? At one point in the movie, the creature removes its helmet so it can battle Arnold mano a mano. And I was cynical enough to assume that its motivation was not macho pride, but the desire to display Winston's special effects. None of these logical questions are very important to the movie. Predator moves at a breakneck pace, it has strong and simple characterizations, it has good location photography and terrific special effects, and it supplies what it claims to supply, an effective action movie. Students of trivia might want to note that the actor inside the Predator costume is Kevin Peter Hall, who also occupies the Bigfoot costume in Harry and the Hendersons. This guy must really be a good sport. And that is the end of his review.
Holy shit. The movie totally answers those questions. 100%. Does it not, Corbs?
He's
taking,
the girl explained.
Yeah, he's taking trophies. He's a trophy hunter. That's why he's there. He's not killing with lasers easily because it's supposed to be a challenge. You know, I mean, you don't go hunting a deer with an AK-47. He's out there for the challenge. I thought the movie got that across very, very clearly.
Yeah, I thought, and early on it got that very clearly when the first guy he killed, Hawkins. Like when he chased the girl and he was holding the girl, and he runs in and they don't show it, but I'm assuming he hits him with the blades and disembowels him and all that stuff. You know, right then and there, he's hunting them. And even Schwarzenegger says he's hunting us one by one.
Yeah,
he's basically hunting them for sport.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure that was even in all the previews.
Yeah, it's their version of the Outdoor Channel.
Right.
Wow, it's weird that someone like Ebert would totally miss that.
Right.
That's odd. All right.
So there's our review.
All right, awesome. On to the next thing. How are we going to do this? Do we want to do a quick stream and then talk about our adventure last week?
Quick stream, as in throw up our stuff?
Yeah, our streaming stuff.
Midstream.
What?
Do you want to do mid-streaming now, or you want to?
Let's do it. I got you now. Okay, you threw me off. Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right.
We got to hold up cards for you?
Right. Big placards. Just So Kevin wanted to discuss the Tomorrow War, but he's not here.
I haven't seen it, so
neither have I. I guess it's a brand new Amazon movie.
Yeah, starring Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
Yes. So we'll talk about that next week. So the only thing I've really had time to watch this week, with it being a short week for everybody, and it was just crazy busy, is Loki. Is everybody all caught up on Loki?
Yep. Did you watch the mid-credit scene?
Last week's? Yes.
Yeah.
And, you know, I watched it tonight before we started the episode.
And then they showed it.
Yep. I was like, well, I guess we didn't need to waste that 5 minutes.
Yeah,
but
sorry, didn't know that.
That's, I mean, you never know if they're going to do that or not, though.
Yeah.
But let's start. Have we discussed Loki at all? Were we up to date last week before last week's episode?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we were.
Okay, cool.
I think we were really one episode behind.
We were, because we didn't do last week's episode because not everybody had watched it yet, and I hadn't seen the after credits scene.
Right.
So as of the end of last week's episode, Loki got pruned
Yep.
And then during the credits, we find out that he's still alive and he's surrounded by a bunch of other Lokis.
One of which is played by Hugh Grant. I love that man. He's awesome. Not Hugh Grant. Jesus Christ. Robert Grant. Richard Grant. It's Richard Grant.
Richard
Jesus.
Grant.
Yes. Richard E. Grant.
There you go.
Wow. That's
yes.
confusing. They must all be related.
Probably. Yeah, he was the old
Yes.
Loki.
He was the
Classic
old
Loki.
Yes. He also played the Doctor in a series of audios that Big Finish put out called Doctor Who Unbound, which basically said, hey, what if the Doctor Who chronology didn't happen like this? What if he regenerated into someone else and wasn't a hero? Like there's the cowardly one, the dark old man who just lives by himself. Really cool, interesting shit, like
Nice.
Elseworlds type stuff. And he played the Doctor in one of those. It was actually, they animated it. BBC did a
cool.
whole animated version of it. It was really fucking cool.
Nice. So yeah, we had classic Loki. I'll call him that. We had Kid Loki. We had Alligator Loki. It was literally an alligator with that little
The
horn
horns.
thing.
And I wish I was Idris Elba Loki.
Yeah, they were calling him Boastful Loki.
Oh,
Loki with a hammer. Yeah, is what we're gonna go with.
yeah. Well, Loki that killed Thor.
He says, no. Kid Loki is the one that claimed to have killed Thor.
Oh, that's right. That's.
Yeah.
Did you catch when they went down into the
was that
the little-
Frog?
all I know is it looked like a little tiny Thor in a jar.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that wasn't when he was a frog. I might have to go back and watch that again because Kristen pointed the same thing out and said, "Was that a tiny Thor?"
I missed it. My wife did the same exact thing. We had to rewind. That's creepy. Are you
Mhm.
me?
No,
I didn't catch it. So
it's when they move down through the.
right, yeah, I know what you're talking about, but it must be a woman thing.
No,
Yeah, I guess so.
you'll have to ask Kelly.
Just watch that crap.
But then we got into this week's episode, which was a whole thing. Like we find out what's going on in this void realm, which is basically where variants go to die.
Yep.
And we end up with everybody there. A whole gang war of Lokis.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed that President Loki was a quick thing. I thought that was going to be something.
You know, I loved the fact, though, that, I mean, yeah, Lokis are generally not savory characters, but several of them have tried to change themselves for the better. And the one Loki says, every time we try to change ourselves for the better, the TVA shows up. Almost like they're specifically, out of everything they have to do, one of their prime directives is to make sure Loki never becomes any more than he already is.
Mhm.
I think that's going to
Yep.
have something to do with the resolution of this.
And I don't think you're wrong on that. And also, this was episode 5, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Is this an 8 episode series as
I
well?
thought it was 6.
That's
it
what I
was
thought
6
too. But it doesn't seem like we're going to wrap up next week.
Well, my son kind of thinks it may actually get a second season. So
I hope so. And this one almost does seem like it can have a second season.
I would love for it to happen. I'm concerned that it won't. Mostly because, and I'm just taking a look here, they're not even saying, is it supposed to be 6 to 8 episodes? Really quick, I was trying to find it on Wikipedia, but I'm not finding it. I'm worried that it won't, just because, you know, Tom Hiddleston is in demand. Kevin Feige also said that they're no longer signing people to long-term contracts today. So they may want to explore other avenues, but watching it today made me realize how upset I'm going to be if this doesn't lead to a second season or Loki reappearing. And you got to admit, with probably just one more Thor movie on tap, there's a good chance that Loki's not really going to be part of the MCU going forward.
Right.
And it makes me really sad because they waited until the end to develop the character into something we wanted to see.
look,
Hey. You're just in time for midstream.
Way late.
A little bit. But everybody knew why. That's all right. We're wrapping up our Loki discussion.
Should I go away because I still haven't watched it?
No, we can wrap it up.
No,
can't
because we can kind of wrap it
Yeah.
up there and just say it was an amazing episode with a hell of a teaser at the end for what's going to happen next week.
Yeah, I don't believe you.
You don't believe me? Oh, you're right. It wrapped up. The show's done. You missed it. I'm just kidding. But it's funny because I had just teased that there was something that you just watched that you wanted to talk about for our midstream section.
It was really good.
All right, why don't you tell us about it?
So I watched Future War, which is
Tomorrow War.
Tomorrow War. Okay, Tomorrow War. Yeah, I guess that makes more sense. It's a Amazon Prime production, original, whatever the hell it is, and it was really good. Chris Pratt, the woman, I don't remember her name. She's got an odd name. She was the same woman that played opposite of Tom Cruise in that alien movie where they kept repeating the same day over and over again.
Was it Emily Blunt?
No, it's not Emily Blunt.
No, you're talking about like The Edge of Tomorrow, that movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought I saw an article that said those two movies might be connected.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, that was Emily Blunt. Boy, this woman looks a lot like her. It was not Emily Blunt movie. What was it? Tomorrow War?
Tomorrow War.
Yeah.
Where's IMDb? Hold on. I just wanna look at the IMDb for this real quick. What the hell is it?
I'm an idiot. I have the link for the movie right here.
So Yvonne Strahovski.
Oh, she plays one of the leads in The Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, that's probably what you know her
She
from
was
then.
also in Predator, the remake Predator from like the 90s.
Okay.
No, it's Aliens versus Predator. Sorry.
Okay. She looks a lot like Emily Blunt. I mean, because I honestly thought it was the same woman, but that's whatever. Are the two movies connected? Well, no. I mean, I guess it could be, but the aliens are completely different. The premise behind how they got to our planet is different. I don't know that they actually talk about how they came to our planet in Edge of Tomorrow. I don't remember that, but for sure they dive into it with Tomorrow War. It was really good. I mean, kind of some old tropes. I like the way they handled time travel. There's definitely time travel in the movie. You'll really easily quickly pick up on why they did it the way they did it and how it kind of makes sense for the movie. I don't know. We enjoyed it. My wife and I sat and enjoyed it the whole night and the whole movie. And at the end of it, we looked at each other and we're like, yeah, it was a good movie. Sometimes we look at each other and like, well, what the fuck did we watch that for? But this one was good. This one's good. I liked it.
Nice.
I want to see it. It looked cool.
Definitely watch it. Definitely.
I heard that it's been getting kind of panned. Like people are kind of slamming it, but it looked cool to me. I want to check it out. And it's on Amazon Prime, so.
Like I said, I mean, it's kind of some old, sci-fi storylines. I mean, it's all kind of been done before. It's just, the little different spin on it, and some good action, and you really, you will see some stuff coming. You're gonna be like, well, why the fuck did they do that? Because you're gonna know what's coming. But it kind of makes it fun too, because you're like, well, it's gonna feel a little familiar.
Right.
Chris Pratt's good. He's good, and
does he just play Chris Pratt in this movie like he does every movie?
I mean, is Chris Pratt always Chris Pratt?
It kind of seems like it to me.
Is he one of those, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, just think Star-Lord, the guy from Jurassic Park. I mean, everything I've seen him in, he's just him,
He doesn't
which isn't
really.
a bad thing.
Yeah, he doesn't really do a lot of comedy. You know, he isn't a comic relief in this. Like
Okay.
I expect him to be. I mean, it's kind of sad in a way. He's kind of sad in a way. I'm gonna watch it again. So there you go. Any movie I've watched twice, it must be all right. And I'm not watching it twice because I paid for it. Because I mean, whatever. Oh, and by the way, Matt and I did a buttload of work tonight at work.
Yes, I've been seeing the stuff come up while we've been recording. It sounds like you had quite a night.
Yeah, we found one thing that we had to fix, and it looks like it'll be fixed by tomorrow. But Matt's going to make sure he gets the message out.
Perfect.
Yep.
All right.
Hey, I found a new beer. Can talk about that?
Sure.
Not new, but I finally have it in my house.
This new beer.
Yeah. So this is actually from Genesee. Yes, the makers of Jenny Cream Ale. This is Ruby Red Kolsch, and it's got a little bit of grapefruit in it, a little flavor of grapefruit in it. Very, very easy drinking beer, and it's
nice.
Very, very good tasting, and it just very easily just flows. So there you go. That's my 2 reviews for the night. I don't have my tabletop review. I'm sorry. I didn't
That's all right. We can come back strong next week. I actually think maybe we should take a look at the one that we'll be playtesting in a few months when it comes in, Kevin. And that would be Heroes of Barcadia.
Oh yeah.
We'll talk about that one next week. There's my tease for next week, because now it seems like every week we're dropping something that we're teasing for the next episode. So, but now I think we're gonna go to our last commercial break, and then we're gonna hit the stuff that we teased last week.
But what if Corbs watched something on TV this week other than Loki?
Corbs didn't.
Corbs didn't.
Is
Corbs is
Corbs frozen?
Corbs is frozen.
Oh,
Corbs
okay.
is frozen for me.
Corbs looks sad.
He does. Because you glossed
Corbs
over
isn't
him.
sad.
Now, Paul, I'm just going to tell you. Did you start catching up on Rick and Morty yet? I've just got 5 words for you. Maybe it's 5 words. I didn't write them all down. For this week's episode, the greatest elbow titties in the galaxy.
All right.
Okay.
And on that note,
I get their words, not mine.
Oh.
But holy shit, was it hilarious?
Okay.
Oh, and they did a whole Captain Planet spoof. God, dude, seriously.
I heard about that.
The writing is so fucking on point this year. It's not funny.
That's awesome. God, you know how bad I want to use that as the title now, elbow titties, but I don't think we can do it.
Probably not.
Damn it. We probably also should call it what we're going to be referencing in the next segment.
Yes.
Do it elbow tassels.
Now, because that's a brief snippet in this show. Now, if we'd reviewed the entire episode and it took up a chunk of time, I could see it, but it's not really about elbow titties.
I mean, everything should be. I'm just saying.
it's always about elbow titties.
I like elbow titties.
You don't even know what they are.
I don't care.
It does come off as kind of self-explanatory.
But it's not, because there's not one, there's 2 on each elbow.
Oh my God. So that's a set of elbow titties.
Yes.
The match set. Jesus.
Am I supposed to think this is gross?
It's supposed to just be absolutely absurd.
Because it is Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the space of an episode that had both the Captain Planet spoof and elbow titties, it also tells a really, really endearing story about a boy's first real love, about loss, about people not respecting the person you've grown into, and 2 people recognizing that they're both kind of empty inside and agreeing to not give each other shit over it. and accepting who they are, the love between a grandfather and his granddaughter. Yeah, that's the funny thing about Rick and Morty is it's not all fucking absurd jokes. There's a ton of dumb, crazy shit. Sometimes you have to watch it 3 times to catch it all, but there's also usually some really good writing. In fact, Justin Roiland referred to this one as his Emmy episode out of the season because, I mean, seriously, amongst all of that, they tell a beautiful story that ends with a mother comforting her son in the after credit scene. And you wouldn't think a show like that would get that emotional, but everybody gets emotional in this episode, which is very strange for the show. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was not expecting. I was thoroughly entertained and a little sad at the end.
It looked like Kevin was looking at us. That was great. That threw me off for a second.
All right.
We're gonna head to break. We're gonna come back and we are gonna discuss the Split Rock Quarry investigation. So,
all right,
stick with us, guys.
Looking for the hottest new comic on the shelf or a key back issue to complete your run? How about that rare statue or action figure that you've scoured the internet looking for? Come to Collectibles Galore. Located in North Syracuse with ample off-street parking, Collectibles Galore has a huge selection of comics, toys, and rare pop culture items you won't find anywhere else. Comics Galore is always buying comics and toys and will give you the fairest price for your collection. New customers get 15% off their first purchase in store. Collectibles Galore for all of your pop culture needs. Stop in and see for yourself why Collectibles Galore is the king of comics.
All right. Well, Corbs is still trying to reboot his Commodore 64. I'm going to kick us off. Let's discuss what happened last Friday night, Hugh.
All right. Yes, we went to Split Rock Quarry for a paranormal investigation with the Grid, and we had an interesting night. Now, Paul, before we get into it, there was some talk on the way there about a password.
Yes. Okay. So what I did while I was getting ready, my wife Kristen was up, getting herself prepared for bed and everything, because we walked out at 10:30 at night to go start this, and so me being who I am, I look her in the face and I say, "Now listen, on the off chance something goes wrong and I get possessed, I'm going to leave you with a code word to make sure you know I'm okay." I said that code word is elderberries. And her response was, "Are you fucking serious?" To which my answer was, yeah. So then I laughed and chuckled and off we went. So yeah, that's the password, was elderberries. So when we returned at 2:30 in the morning, I get upstairs, I get all ready, and I crawl into bed, and I hear the rustling, and she rolls over and she goes, "What's the password?" And I roll over and I go, "Cranberries." And she says, "That's not fucking funny."
Neither is this.
Oh, that's great.
And then she did say, "Seriously, what is it?" And so I did have to say, "It's freaking elderberries." Jesus, come on.
You know, I don't know what makes you think if you were possessed that the spirit wouldn't have access.
Wouldn't
to
know that. Yeah.
They have their own memories.
They're gonna have their own as well as mine, I would assume.
I don't want your memories.
No one does. I don't want.
There's
my
things
memories.
that I know you've seen that I don't ever want to think about.
So, all right, for those of you guys that don't know, Split Rock Quarry is a location in Fairmount, I guess. It'd be considered Fairmount, New York. It's right near Camillus, right outside of the town of Onondaga in Syracuse. It's named after the hamlet of Split Rock. And it was a limestone quarry, and which was repurposed into a munitions factory. They were manufacturing TNT for World War I. And on the fateful night of July 2nd, 1918, the Cernit Solvay Process Company, which was operating a munitions factory on the site of its former limestone quarry at Split Rock, manufacturing highly explosive TNT for World War I. It is believed that an overheated gear in a grinding machine started a fire in the number 1 TNT building. Workers fought the blaze until the hoses lost water pressure, and then there was no stopping it. The resulting explosion rocked the landscape and was felt for miles around. It killed an estimated 50 men, while leaving another 50 injured. A stone crusher built in 1903 during the quarry days is the only significant surviving structure on the site. So that about tells us that, well, one, that Corbs' armpits right there. That tells us all we need to know about why we were there, and it's said to be very haunted.
Yes.
It's said to exist on ley lines. We were told.
What did you just say?
It is supposed to be. It's supposed to exist on ley lines. Ley, ley. Not. Although judging from all the party sites there were probably also ley lines.
Ley lines.
Yeah. So now, what's so significant about when we went, Hugh?
It was the 103rd anniversary of the tragedy. Although, depending on who you talk to, it might also be the 121st if your math is sketchy.
So who's got the bad math?
Wasn't either of us. So.
Nope.
Okay.
We had our math down.
Yeah, so it was a big night. There were some other people down there. We did run into 2 groups up there who were leaving. We walked around. We took some video. We took some pictures. We didn't end up getting to do as much as we wanted to. Part of that was the people we were going with were supposed to have some extra people who ran the camera, and due to some extraneous circumstances, they were not able to accompany us. So it was just Paul and I and the Grid, who's the face of their paranormal investigations. So with limited people, they didn't have their cameras running exactly the way they wanted it to. Ended up being a little bit rushed, but we did do a nice little tour of the place. We walked through the rock crusher. We had to climb up a wall to get over that. Took lots of really cool pictures, which I don't know how you want to do this, Paul, if you want me to get you the pictures like in a Google Drive or something so that we can put them up.
Yes.
I don't know. Do you want to talk about what happened yet, or do you have more about the history of the place?
That was all I had for the history. I all my research isn't complete yet. We've heard talk of entities there that are, I believe, supposedly on the top of the rock crusher by the name of Tom. He may have been a conductor or some sort of that, because we're told he's a rather jovial character, likes to wave his hat at you and smile. Other than that, I hear that due to to the nature of the explosion and the chemicals that were used at the munitions factory, the ghosts are typically a green or yellowish color in nature.
Like Geek Pod green?
Like Geek Pod green or Geek Pod yellow. Mustard.
Interesting. Now we did our walkthrough, and Paul's still going through the video. He did say that he found something green in one of the sections. We need time to go through all this. I was running, just taking still pictures and recording everything for audio. And I did capture a couple things. I sent the pictures to Paul. These are not nothing I saw was definite anything, but what was interesting is as we come out of the rock crusher and we came down this little hill, and then we had to go through, there's a path there, but it's overgrown with bushes and stuff.
Pretty densely overgrown.
Yeah. So we're walking, and I'm holding the camera, my phone, basically. And Grid and Paul are ahead of me. We're walking through, we're talking, and all of a sudden I am down. My feet have come out from under me. My jeans are ripped. My knee is busted up in 3 places. My elbow, my wrist, which still, I mean, everything still hurts. I'm still in a lot of pain from like my shoulder down to my ankle. I don't know what I landed on. I hit hard. I don't know if I can show this, if the camera will pick this up, but I'm going to try to put my knee up in front.
A little bit higher if you can, and this way. There you go.
Oh, that's nothing.
Yeah, it's not anything awful by any means. It was certainly painful, but really what's bothering me more is the fact that my whole body feels like I got run into by something, which was probably my body hitting the ground because it's so heavy. But what was weird about that for me is, first of all, I was like cool and calm during this entire thing. Paul kept actually turning around with the camera rig and the light to check on me. And thank you, Paul. It seemed like you were actually concerned about my fat, clumsy ass falling down with all those pieces of debris. But I kept telling him to turn back around because I'm trying to take pictures and he keeps shining this light at me.
Right, that's light in your face. Yeah.
So I'm actually completely cool. And it didn't occur to me until after this happened. But as we were going through that path on the bushes, I don't know if it's anxious. I don't know what it was. I suddenly really wanted to get through the bushes. Like it's the first time and the only time during that whole thing where I fell off. And I don't know if I started to rush and slip. I honestly don't know what happened. I mean, I was stepping carefully and I just fell. Now, interestingly enough, as I'm falling, I hit and hold the take the picture button on my camera, which on my phone takes a burst shot, which it takes like a bunch of shots all at once. And I have a burst shot of me falling. And what's interesting is in two of the frames,
yes,
there's some weird stuff. Like and I know this is probably the brain playing tricks on you, making you see something that isn't there. But in one frame, it looks like there's a face down next to me. And I don't know what that could be. Now, maybe there's a rock there that looks kind of like a face or something. I don't know. But I certainly didn't see it while we were there. And what was the other thing, Paul? Well, they were both kind of like sort of face looking things, weren't they?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually thought it was just 2 instances of the same thing.
Yeah. And maybe it was, but they were separated by about 10 shots. It was a total of like 17 or 18 shots all taken in the space of the time it took me to fall. So it's just weird that I got that weird feeling that I caught something on the burst shot. I don't know. I'm not going to say it was ghosts. I'm not going to say I was actually chop blocked and pushed over.
Did the ghost try to catch you?
With rocks that are on the ground.
Well, I mean, they're ghosts. They tried and they failed, and then you fell in the rocks.
Well, they wouldn't have needed to catch me if they hadn't pushed me over to begin with.
It is just kind of rude. I'm just saying.
At that point, we hadn't even played the explosions to try to rile them up.
Right.
Well, so after that, I get up, we stop, I check myself, I see I'm bleeding. I mean, the things on my knee, they're a week old now and they don't look bad, but I was bleeding,
pretty good.
Yeah.
Like to the point where one of them, we weren't sure if you're going to need to go get a couple of stitches in there.
Yeah. And actually our friend Helen, who's a nurse now, looked at it and she was kind of like, you need to watch that one because it is fairly deep.
Mm-hmm.
So then we went and we played some explosions on our phone and continued recording. I didn't see anything come up in the text of what we recorded, or the text, because it was being transcribed as it was spoken. But I took the audio file and I went through the entire thing, and I actually found a couple things. Now, Paul, I'm talking a lot here. Do you want to jump in?
No, keep going.
At some point? Okay. So after we went into this one little cul-de-sac, played the explosions, and we went around a corner, and there's this wall, and it's full of graffiti. We noticed somebody made a little white Mickey Mouse head. We called it out when we got in there.
Yes.
And the wall stretches up. There's graffiti all the way up. So we're talking. Grid is telling us, kind of some of the things that have happened on other investigations. And it's weird, Paul, because he says that, they do things on shows like Supernatural where they use blood as part of rituals. But here's the funny thing. As he was saying that, and if you look at the video, I think you'll see I'm walking back over to the mouse because I got the idea at the same time.
Yeah, you were already heading in that direction.
Yeah, it's weird. We both I start walking over there and I'm about to say, hey guys, I'm going to try something, when he actually suddenly spouts out with what I'm thinking of doing. That was fucking weird. Okay. But I reached down, got some blood on my finger, and I rubbed it on the Mickey Mouse. And I we have pictures of all this. You can see the streak of blood on the Mickey Mouse. And I ask the spirits, I'm like, what do you think about that? How do you feel about that? Do you feel anything about that? Something along those lines. And all of a sudden we hear a ch. Now I'm hoping that on the video, you get all of our heads turning that way because we all turned at once.
Mm-hmm.
At least that was my perception. At least
yes, it was.
You did. I couldn't see Chris from where I was. And looking over into the darkness. Now, we have audio of this. It is really hard to hear, but if I enhanced it, and if you listen to it very carefully, you can hear it. But it's like 6 or 7. It's not the typical 3 knocks that happens on every paranormal show. It's like 6 or 7 events, and what it sounds like is a shovel going into dirt.
Yes. Like that's specifically, yeah.
That freaked. That was freaky.
Yes.
And I'm hoping that the video camera got better audio of that because you had the microphone on there. This is just on my fucking phone,
right?
Picking that up. There was also another audio anomaly where it sounds like something says something, you can't tell what it is, and then you can hear the grid say, "Did you hear that?"
Yes.
So we captured something. I don't know what it was. I tried slowing it down. I tried playing it backwards. I've amplified it. What you have, Paul, is the best that I have the ability to try to clean it up.
Okay. And that will be all this will be in the video that I produce from all of this, like all the audio files. We'll drop in to reference it as well. I've got, I'd say probably 25 minutes worth of video to go through, all told, to see what we've got. Some of that is Hugh scolding me to stop shining the light in his face. But
I want a copy of
that part specifically.
Do you mean you want a copy of the raw stuff, Kevin, so you can go through it?
No, a copy of the part where you're yelling at Paul. Just want to make a sound.
You didn't react, so I wasn't sure if he was making a joke, but you were dead serious.
Uh-huh.
He's gonna make it his ringtone for when Paul calls him.
It text tone actually.
Right.
But I mean,
shut up, Paul. Shut up, Paul.
Other than my unfortunate mishap, which we're not sure, that had anything to do with the paranormal activity there. For our first ghost hunt, Paul, I have to say, the fact that we got anything, even if it could be completely explained away, the fact that we got anything was a bright spot for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it kind of lit the fire.
Yes.
I think I've got the bug now.
Well, I mean, definitely. And Grid himself already said that they want us to come along, do some more stuff with them, check some different things out. He kept mentioning this asylum. And
you're echoing again. That's the second time this has happened. I'm echoing.
Everybody's echoing. What the hell's going on?
Not me.
Great. Fucking Split Rock spirits.
No echo now.
I don't know. Nope, it's gone again. Cool. That is weird though.
Explained.
Yeah. And also, we're not even mentioning that we debuted our new work gear for it. And basically what we're calling our new event team as the abnormal response team.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. Way to go, Kevin. That's a good one. So you'll see Hugh's. It does fit. You'll see Hugh's work shirt in it because you don't see me at all in the video.
Because your video.
Yeah, I was running the camera the whole time. You hear me. I speak to you, but you don't get to see me.
You a spirit?
Right. I was just a disembodied voice.
No, he just walked around the whole time going.
That's right. You can't see me. How did I not do that at least once?
I don't know.
God damn it. And you didn't even mention that according to Grid's spirit box, we were introduced to an entity named Pete. That was also in that same location, right?
Just Cuban Pete.
Yeah, that was at the place where I played the explosions.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I did tell you afterwards. I'm a little nebulous on that because it was a spirit box app, and I don't trust any of the ghost hunting apps.
Which is understandable because, that's a program, and it can be algorithms.
And programs do what they're programmed to do.
Yes.
Although GeekPod is looking at purchasing some legitimate ghost hunting equipment, like a real spirit box. Paul and I were talking about it earlier. So hopefully, along with the stuff we're going to do with Grid, we want to do some solo things. And we're hoping to put together a decent ghost hunting kit, a good abnormal paranormal response team kit.
And also, we're going to put together like a team of it, too. Like, I'm looking at seeing if someone wants to volunteer to run the video equipment for us so we can actually all be on together. And then we were talking about having someone more versed in this kind of thing than us to accompany us, kind of training wheels for a little while.
Not the same thing. Like, we went out with the Grid and he was kind of leading things. We're looking for something where we're leading things, but having a wealth of or some sort of resource along with us that may know more than we do.
Hopefully some like craggy, like grumpy old guy. Like, I think that's what it needs. And that's not a reference to anybody. If you guys are going to try and figure that one out, it's just that's the character we need. Some like 70-year-old guy who's been in this shit and doesn't really like us.
Mr. Withers from Scooby-Doo.
Oh, old man Withers, yes.
Some guy that's like, I'm your fucking focus. Look at me.
Okay, why are we echoing again?
I don't know.
Oh, now we're not.
We're talking about the ghost hunting experience, of course.
Naturally.
Your iPhone.
Any other thoughts on it before we wrap up?
No, just looking forward to doing more of this. Lots more of this, actually.
I agree. And are you guys in coming up after? I know Corbs had issues with being able to get there, and Kev couldn't make it. But
I didn't want to go out in the rain.
I wasn't going to throw that out there directly at you.
Care.
But but we did get lucky. We didn't get any rain. It did clear off. I had my doubts because I kept looking at the weather report, and it was like torrential downpours, like from like 3 p.m. until like 4 a.m. And I'm like, fuck. And Kevin was like, our equipment is not going to survive that. Like, that stuff will not survive.
We didn't buy stuff that's
not made for that. Yeah. But my bag was like filled with like Ziploc bags and all this other shit that in case I had to stash it. So, and extra batteries, lots of extra batteries. So, but I definitely think there was something to it. It was also brought up to us. Go ahead.
You didn't even bring up the fact that right before we heard that sound, didn't Grid's battery on his camera die, and then the battery on your light died during that, didn't it?
My light died as we were wrapping up, like while we were still standing right in front of the rock crusher.
And like you said, you had like 25 minutes of video. We were only investigating actively for 45 minutes, maybe. I think.
Yeah.
That's weird.
So you
Anyway,
were there for a bunch of hours and only did 45 minutes worth of work?
Well,
Yeah,
a
pretty
lot
much.
of hiking.
Yeah, a lot of hiking, a lot of waiting. Also, when we got back, we all talked for quite a while. So, I mean, if we did 45 minutes of actual filming and hunting, we probably were only there an hour. I don't think we were actually up at the site longer than an hour.
That sounds right.
Echo.
And I don't know why.
Does someone have us on speakers or something?
I'm not using the headset. Let me turn my volume down.
It sounds like the audio coming back through a microphone.
Okay. It could have been. Or it could have been the ghosts.
Or that too. Anyway.
The ghost in the computer?
Yes. Ghost in the machine. Look at that.
Ghost in the machine. There you go.
Didn't Kevin just fix that?
What?
Didn't Kevin just fix that?
It would have been nice, but I guess not in this one. I'll have to turn it off and back on again. But
You were saying before I interrupted you, you said we didn't even mention shit. Sorry.
that's all right. I'm used to it. I don't know. Oh, the fact that that they were talking about, that's what it was. They were talking about visiting the mines that are on site as well. And we decided to nope out on that one since no one was really sure of where the mines are and had ever been in them. So we weren't about to start that at 1 a.m.
I've seen some mine movies, some mine horror movies, and like things like The Descent, My Bloody Valentine. Nope.
That's
Not
a big
without
old
more-
negative.
Not without more information. It's one thing to go around this big building that's probably not going to fall down, but going into a mine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Agreed.
So what was mined on that site?
Limestone.
They strip mined that. They mined that from the top.
Okay. Oh, I don't
know.
That's a good point. Then I don't know what the mines were, but they were referencing saying that you can go down like 5,000 feet or something in them, right?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Wow.
Something crazy.
I've never seen that there.
I don't know where it
It's
is.
there. I've never heard that.
No, it'll be interesting. I want to do more research on it. Like I was telling you guys, I want to go back there during the day, check the area out because I've never really seen it. So, and now we kind of have an idea of like at least where to go when you get up there.
Yeah.
But so
Where do you go?
straight up, hang left.
Funny.
Thanks. Thanks, Captain Obvious.
I mean, we literally parked in a neighborhood and walked up the street into the place.
Yeah.
Like back deep into a neighborhood.
Where is it again?
It's outside of Fairmount.
Where outside of Fairmount? I've been to Fairmount.
Me too. But
I go to Fairmount Glen all the time.
It's literally you turn off of the main drag there off of 5 and 20 or whatever it is at that point, 5, right?
Yep.
Into like a residential area, and then you start hanging lefts and rights and park on a side street and walk up to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
And then it's a long uphill hike to actually get there.
Yeah.
In the woods.
It's a lot easier to go in there on a dirt bike.
I bet.
it is.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to be a ghost by the time we got there.
Well, all right. That's our first experience with a paranormal investigation. Eventually, well, we'll get Kevin to bed. But eventually we're gonna have Grid and the Andrew on to discuss it as well.
All right.
And we're gonna try and do more with them. But that's really all I got. Anybody else got anything in the last few minutes before we wrap up here?
Nope.
Or should I just drop them nuggets?
Drop some elbow titties.
Chicken nuggets?
Maybe. I mean, it is early.
Drop your nuggets.
I could do some breakfast pizza.
Ooh, me too. That's a good idea. But this week's wisdom nugget: it is not appropriate to sing "You Can't Always Get What You Want" at a wedding. Good night, everybody, and megabyte me, bitches.
This has been a GeekPod Network production.